Hello everybody and welcome to some Warzone 2.0 where I'm going to be spectating because I ran out of ideas for videos and I have nothing really else to do. That, and I also just kind of want to see what the state of Warzone 2 is right now because it'll be funny. But yeah, I'm actually like very in love with Warzone 2 right now in terms of like how everything is. I love the map and everything. It's probably my favorite BR map, maybe barely behind Blackout. I love the size of it. It's perfect. It's really big. I'll say that. It's big and I like it. Since we're gonna be spectating, I've actually already had my first game in the Gulag, but I'm in my first on-screen game in the Gulag. Because obviously the first game I died after the Gulag closed. I forgot to frickin' pull my chute too soon. Whoops. There's gotta be a way. Oh, there we go. Yee. I have a grenade. I'm about to show off the cutscene. I love the cutscene. I hope we get these characters as skins, by the way. Or just even these characters, because I love this character model so much.
In here, you fight to win back your life. Gates! Let's go!
And then I think after the gates, you just get kind of tossed in. Yeah, you get kind of just tossed in. So, if you didn't already know how the Gulag works and you're new to my channel, the Gulag is a 2v2. You have to kill. You either have to kill both players to win, or if we don't kill them too quick, you'll see.
Someone better die soon!
Yep. After a little bit, the jailer will come into the game. If you kill the jailer, that team will then immediately be released. I believe the team that kills it will be released. Or everyone will be released. I'm not 100% sure. But it's a juggernaut, so we're going to go spectate. Oh, it's going to put us into this team again, spectating against this. Yes, they are. They're spectating the Gulag guys. So it's been my first time spectating in general. Like, the most I've spectated otherwise before this was, like, DMZ. So we are spectating Anthony 123411. I know there's a lot of spectating bugs right now, or a lot of things that don't show up in spectating, so forgive me if he does something that if I immediately assume he's cheating or something, because I can't see UAV. I can't see his plates if he decides to plate up. At least on his health bar, but I'll know if he is fully plated. Just by if he gets shot or not. Grab that Lockman. Okay, I would say Lockleman, but there's no extra L there. It's just Lockman. I might as well just give my first impressions on it, since I don't have anything really topic-wise like in terms of stories or anything to talk about. I might as well give my thoughts at least on Warzone 2. I'll save another whole thing for DMZ for another time, or I'll have DMZ gameplay in the background so it's more... makes sense. I'll start off with mainly the pros of Warzone 2 that I like so far. Keyword, so far, it is, I think, about a week, since it came out. Let me double check my phone here. As me recording this anyway. Yeah, as me recording this, it has been exactly a week since Warzone 2 and Season 1 have dropped. I'm recording this on a Wednesday, so this is gonna be over a week now by the time this goes up, but things I do like, I do like the looting system, about like how it's not just on the ground like it was before, and there's not just chest loot. The fact that they're on like shelves and like there's containers and stuff like that you can loot other than just like on the ground and loot crates, like armor plate on the shelf there, it's different, you know what I mean? Little just different little tiny things that are just like little detailed stuff I like. I will say, the backpack thing I definitely like a lot more than I did Warzone 1's looting, where it just dropped everything on the ground. But I'll go into the cons on certain looting things as I go. But I like the system in like on paper is really good. And obviously when I go to the cons, I'll talk more about why I say that. But I really like the looting system. I do like how it tells you what attachments a gun has when you loot it. So like when you highlight over a gun, it'll tell you, it'll glow orange what attachments are on there that are not base to the gun. So like if you look at the bottom right, oh, you can't see it because I'm covering it, but I could probably move my model a little bit right there, just for a second. You can see on the gun there's a grip on it. When it's on the ground, that grip will glow orange, so that you can see that that's obviously an attachment if it wasn't already obvious. But like it does that, so I guess for some people who may not notice. I do like the idea of the backpack in general, because it definitely does have a lot more stuff to pivot off of. So, like, yeah, you can, in theory, carry 2 different types of grenades, both lethal and tactical, extra armor plates, as well as a bunch of other, like, ammo and stuff like that. And also, the fact that you don't need to carry, only the ammo in the guns that you're using can be looted. Otherwise, they get stowed in your backpack, I think is great. But also does have a downside that if you decide to change weapons and you don't have any ammo, or there's no ammo nearby, you're kind of screwed. But, that being said, I do really, really like the overall idea of backpacks. It does mean you have to micromanage your inventory, and you might not be able to have everything you may want. I could have sworn I just heard a yell. I don't know if that was in-game or if I was hearing shit. I think I'm just hearing things, because I just stayed quiet till took my headphones off. But a couple other things that I do like about Warzone is the map and its overall layout. Definitely a lot better than Verdansk. I will say that. I'm putting it above Caldera right now, but obviously there's no balloons. There's no, like, all of the things that help movement across the map aren't in Warzone 2. But I feel like with time, like, a lot of people would say, oh, if Verdansk had all of these, like, things, Verdansk would be a better map. Yeah, but there's one small problem, that downtown exists. Downtown is the only reason why I hate Verdansk, to a point that I hate the Warzone 1. But Caldera, I love Caldera, because there's nothing like downtown in Verdansk, in Caldera, rather. In this, there is Al Mazrah City, which is pretty egregious. Or, where is Al Mazrah City? Yeah, there's Al Mazrah City, which is pretty bad, but it's like, there's more ways up the building now. That was my one big problem with Verdansk, is that big, tall building that everyone camped on top of, that eventually became, the, tower from Die Hard? I forget the name of it. Verdansk Tower, I think, is what it ended up becoming after a while. There was only one way up. One. There was one way up, and it was the elevator, or you could go up the staircase. Technically, it's 2 ways up, but it's like you either took the elevator, or you took the entire staircase up, which I don't even think you can technically do. I think that's AI. Is it AI? Yeah, it's AI. Just from the fact that they downed him without killing him immediately, I think it's AI. I will say, another thing I do like about the map overall is just the colors and everything. I mean, yeah, it's mainly brown, but the few areas that do have a lot of color that aren't brown, like in, I'm trying to think of the name of the area here, if I can find it. I know it's mainly by, DMZ, so I'll find it here eventually. I think El Monzo City is a good example of, like, the colors are definitely, like, there's a lot more color there. Obviously, where it is mainly brown, yeah, it is pretty bad, but areas where they decide to put a lot of color, it definitely is better. It is very, like I said, it's very light and like very brown and grays, but like the green doesn't feel desaturated. It feels like it feels vibrant. There is vibrancy in the browns and grays, which is good, because as somebody who very much has a problem with has eyesight problems, having any form of colors to help make things pop is a lot better than none at all. So, and one thing else I'll talk about, since we're kind of experiencing a little bit here, is the vehicles, not the AI. That's a part. It's unfortunately going to be mainly a part of the cons. But I will at least talk about what I do like about them in this. Vehicles are great. They're a little clunky to get used to, but once you get used to them, they are so responsive. I want to say I like them more than Cold War's, because I like the, what I'm calling the Halo movement of cars, where it's only the stick controls them. But these feel way more responsive than they did in Warzone 2, and they feel a lot more speedy. The only complaint I have is that the flying vehicles are awful and very, very easy to crash. I have crashed the helicopter a few too many times that I would like to healthily admit. Whether it be on purpose or by complete accident. I will not disclose. And no, I'm not making a joke on a certain day in the month of September. No, it's just generally, sometimes I would just crash it because I'm doing it for a funny meme. Because crashing the helicopter, which can kill people in one shot if they're within the radius, regardless of when they're in a building, is hilarious. And it's happened a couple times that I can count on my hands how many times I've killed somebody with a helicopter. But I'm going a little off track. That's a whole nother thing. It's might as well talk about it here, since we're at a buy station and we obviously can't see it. The fact that loadouts are unavailable in the buy station and you do not get perks from them. My main issue with the loadouts was the fact that when you bought them and you like use them, all you got was you got your 2 guns, your perks, and your equipment. That basically de-incentivized any form of looting that you would realistically need. Excuse me. But obviously, in theory, you could still play a game without looting, but you'd be at a disadvantage because you'd have no perks. My main problem with loadouts was the fact that it gave you perks. If they made if they keep loadouts the way they are right now and make perks only via loot, I would love that, because it means that you have to rely on some RNG to be able to get something like Ghost, or I'm not gonna say Overkill, because Overkill is just intrinsically in the game because you pick up 2 weapons, but like Ghost, Double Time, EOD, or I think it's called Bomb Squad now, Battle Hardened, and like all the perks that are just like, oh, you can carry 2 tacticals, 2 lethals, 2 weapons, whatever. Like, the perks that actually give you a benefit to the person, like Bomb Squad or Battle Hardened, if those are only lootable, I think that's great. Maybe have it be a thing where you can only get 1 perk from the buy stations, and it can't be an ultimate perk. Like, I would say Fast Hands, like, anything in that, like, I think it's the bonus perk, not the ultimate perk. So anything bonus perk and lower can be obtained via loadout. Everything else should be, or with the exception of, I think, Battle Hardened and Bomb Squad, I think everything else should be in the loot pool. I'd have to look at the perks again. But, like, within reason, certain ones should be in loadouts and certain ones should be floor loot. Because that's my one gripe with Warzone 1, is that it was just, you got your loadout, you got Ghost, good. You don't need to ever loot again. Unless you're buying, going for money. Which case, you can just do contracts or kill people for it. So it's like, eh. This actually does incentivize looting, especially now because the money economy is a little busted, and I do hope they fix that. Again, talk about the cons. We might do 2 games, because I do want to talk in length about everything. But mainly, the things another thing I do like is the fact that vehicles are basically, I want to say, like, not permanent, I guess, is the best way to describe it. Their health bar, obviously, once they explode, they're done. But you can repair them, which is good, and refuel them. But if you get screwed, like this guy currently is, And like, obviously I can't see the gas or the health, but if he got in this car and there's no gas in it, he's screwed because he can't get into the zone. But there are gas stations that you can repair. We're driving by one right now on the minimap, as you can see, that basically give you a reason to, like, actually, like, it makes using cars more of a risk than ever, because obviously you were pinged on the map, they're loud, and they're obnoxious, and they still one-shot down or kill people, but you can't just sit in it forever like you could in Warzone 1 with the Berthas, which is great, and they balanced it out a little bit more, and I love that. Heartbeat sensors, it has a battery, you can't just hold it there forever, it'll eventually die, and I don't know if it dies you can't use it anymore, but it charges decently fast, so there is some balancing to it, you can still kind of spam it, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was in Warzone 1. In my opinion, I think the heartbeat sensor, once it dies, it's done, I think is great. If it dies and then you can just still use it, you just have to let it charge for a lot longer, I think is also fine. I think all they would really need to do to make the heartbeat sensor a little bit more weaker would be to make the charge be... Okay. To make the charge be, like, slower the longer you've used it. So, like, 20... If it's under 20%, it's, like... It charges within a few seconds. If it's under... Like, like, every increment of 20, it takes longer to charge. And if it's dead, you basically might as well throw it out, because it's going to take forever to charge, kind of thing. But I might as well bring this up as well. UAVs are one-time use, which, yeah, I consider that a con, but at the same token, I also consider that a pro, because it means that there is a lot more, like, you have to really think about when you want to use that UAV. Because I like trying, I'm not going to say, I will say it is more of a con than it's a pro, but I do like the idea of the fact that you have to, I think it's only, I don't know if it's one per buy station or one per person, or like one per team, but you really have to prioritize knowing when and where to use that UAV, which I do like. I definitely think it definitely shouldn't be, if it's one per game, per team, I think it should be toned down. I think it should be one per buy station, and the lootable ones don't count. But I definitely do like that, and I definitely think it could be some tuned a little bit more, because I definitely do think it does ruin the flow a tiny bit. But other than that, I do like the UAV change. It means that people aren't just spamming it. I don't remember everything that's available in the shop, but I do like the shop layout. It's a lot more streamlined and stuff like that. Again, the fact that you can just buy your guns in the loadout without having to worry about throwing the drop down and possibly getting killed. Yeah, you can still get killed at the buy station, but you don't have to worry about dying before your loadout drop lands. I guess he did hit him in the chest, but still. I'm surprised that didn't down him at least. What else is there? I guess I might as well start talking about just, like, not to say cons, but things I do want to see changed that I think could be changed. I think differentiating footsteps from multiplayer on Warzone 2 and DMZ, that needs to happen. The fact, I understand that they're the same game kind of thing, and they want to try and keep them all connected, but they need to make it so that, they aren't, like, having the footstep audio change in Warzone doesn't affect... This guy just got screwed by switching weapons. Switching the audio in Warzone 2 should not affect multiplayer and stuff like that. Like, keep them, like, obviously, if you're gonna make changes in Warzone to, like, weapons, yeah, those should definitely be not across all modes. But, like, audio and, like, certain, like, weird quirks of the engine, I think should be, like, based on the mode you're playing. Obviously, it very much it's on a basis of, like, everything involved, you know what I mean? So it just depends on what they're tweaking. Like, audio should be differentiated across all the modes. Or at least all of the games, I should say. Not really modes anymore. Time to talk about some of the cons. I definitely think the floor loot needs to be improved. Because... Jailbreak? Oh, shit. Well, we're just gonna die. Because I don't want to do this. I want to die. I didn't know this was a jailbreak. Anyway, we're dead again. That's top 25, all right. Oh, great, we got an AFK. I guess to be fair, they were probably spectating with me and then they AFK. That's fun. I should have started running around and wait until I got shot. Then again, I only really picked up my controller for that, so. Let's talk about the cons. I'll be honest, I like the Gulag, but I definitely think for solos it should be 1v1. Because, yeah, you could... It's a situation where if you die due to, like, a grenade, and then your teammate manages to wipe, you do get out. I still think 1v1 makes more sense for solos, but for duos, trios, and quads, and whatever other modes they decide to add in as, like, LTMs, I think Gulag being 2v2 is fine. I just think for solos, it should be 1v1s because I like the 1v1 aspect of it. And I will say, a con that I forgot to mention that I hate that it actually is having this effect that I wasn't really worried about, but now I really am, is proximity chat. For content reasons, it's hilarious. For the sake, for a situation like being in the Gulag and having them throw because of your name, your clan tag, maybe your calling card or emblem, like it happened to me. It actually happened to me when I was playing with Evie, or Kitty Cove / my partner that I work on the Cove with, which, by the way, keep an eye out. Yeah, I literally had my teammate throw because of my emblem and my clan tag. Which, yeah, it's like, some people would say, oh, you deserve it, whatever. You should want to try to win yourself, no? But they literally threw just to have me get killed, then they focused on the jailer, and I'm like, wow, that's just incredibly toxic. I reported them, and for the first time ever, I actually got a response back saying that they did get temporarily suspended for toxic behavior, so that was cool. Or that my report resulted in a ban anyway. Which, call me petty for reporting that, but it's like, come on. If you're throwing the game for not only the teammate in your Gulag, but also your teammate that might be still alive, it's like, damn, that you have to need to get your priorities straight, my guy. Other cons. Excuse me. I don't know why I just felt like I was about to, like, vomit there. I apologize. But I started to gag there for a minute. I don't know why. Are they teaming? Are they fucking teaming? Okay, we're about to see the end of this game. 1v1. Yeah, but to talk more about the cons, I really think the spectating needs to be fixed. Obviously, I've already said at the beginning. I think audio needs to be adjusted very much so for a lot of the weapons. Being unnecessarily loud in certain places, or in some cases. I've actually not seen the exfil animations. This would be interesting. Other cons I definitely want to mention that are like more brief, and I don't really know how to really talk about how to fix them. I think that the loot pool, not to say the loot pool, but like the looting needs to be fixed, because I think there was a situation that we probably saw there where the guy was trying to pick up a triple plate vest and he couldn't. I definitely think when you die, any items other than the gun you were holding should go in the backpack. Everything else should go in the backpack other than the gun you were holding when you died. And also it should, if two people die on a same corpse, it should make the it should go trying to loot the backpack. If they're too close together, you should be able to press for controller, like press LB or RB to change between nearby containers if that's a situation that happens. What else is there when it comes to cons that I want to talk about? In terms of Warzone specifically, the AI needs to be toned the hell down, because I played the campaign on Hardened. It's still going up. I think the final episode goes up sometime in January. So again, I apologize. There's not going to be any Persona 5 for a bit, but I wanted to get the campaign up and done. I usually do a daily double uploaded, but I didn't want to do it this time around because I want to be able to stream if I ever can again. I apologize for no streams. I've been having internet issues as well as my job. I'm trying to prioritize keep my job and also paying bills and stuff like that. But yeah. Essentially, I forgot where I was going with that. My brain just had a brain fart. I definitely think the AI needs to tone down because they feel like they are ripping into people on like the most minute obviously I understand AI. It's very hard to sneak up on them. Skyrim sneaking is a joke. Fallout sneaking is even more of a joke. Games where you have to sneak, unless you know how the mechanic and how all the mechanics work, can typically be very annoying. But the AI feel like they so much as hear a rock, like they hear you breathe, and they just go, "Hey, look, it's a person. I'm gonna shoot them in one shot." They feel like they melt you. I definitely think they need to be toned down on their like aggro and their like, I want to say their damage output. I want them to definitely be a threat and like, oh, you shouldn't rush into a building of like with 5 AI in it if you're in a stronghold in Warzone. But I also don't want it to be a thing where you can walk into a stronghold and just tap everyone in the head and they have and they're like recruit bots. There needs to be a balance between the two because they definitely feel way stronger than I think they have any need to be. I'm actually gonna play this one out, so forgive me if I do go quiet, but I still want to talk about some more cons. What else are some problems that I have with the game? I will say this, I like the circle collapse system where the first circle, it's really, really big, and then it turns into, I think it shrinks down, then it becomes 3 circles, and then it obviously after a while it converges back into 1 circle again. I love that. I just wish that that it was more of a that the circles don't feel so pointlessly close together. Like, I understand them being close together later on, but like when the circle first closes in, so like right now if we look at this, when this circle first closes in, and also stop putting half the circle out of the map, try and have the circle just be dead center as possible. When this first circle closes in, the 3 circles are almost like basically you could drive through the gas to get to each other. I definitely think the first zone should be bigger, and the subsequent multi-zones should be farther apart and still pretty big. We're gonna go to Zarqwa. Here. I'm gonna pull my shoot in just in the off chance that I thought I changed my mind last minute here. Trying to see if I can kill somebody. I want to see if I try and get a kill with this X12, I think. Let me in. Thank you. I feel bad using that because I said I wasn't going to use it until it was my last gun for atomic. We do have a gun, so it's fine. Just no real reserve ammo. But other cons, like again, the gulag is just so, I don't like it that much. I think it definitely has it's good for like team modes, but for solos, please just make it 1v1. What else is there? what else is there that I think is a problem? Oh, lighting definitely needs to have a bit of a tweaking inside certain buildings. Because, like, in here, very, very dark. If you go outside, you do get, like, that weird flash of light that you get, like, when you go from darkness to light for a while, like IRL, so I like the realism with that. I just think it needs to be toned back a bit, because good god is it disorienting to do for that sometimes. Obviously, I will say, I might as well bring this up, because it probably will help with my sort of thoughts. I'm playing this on the Xbox One S, not Series S. So a lot of my problems might be related to hardware, not necessarily like the game. So obviously I'm not going to fault the game for an issue that might be just related to hardware and not... Okay, that was unfortunate. I think... What are other cons that I have? I think I'm hearing the echo of the game through my TV speakers. Because when I play Switch games, or if I'm playing games that don't require me to use my headset, I use my TV just because. All right. I don't know if you can hear the in-game chat, unfortunately, but we're going left. I got stuck.
We lost that one, but we'll come back stronger next time.
They wiped us immediately. Or no, I think it only does that for me, right? That's one thing. If both players die, if one player dies, then if one player dies and the other one wins, I don't think it pulls me back out. I think it automatically makes just the other two, only makes the other person go out. I don't 100% know. I've never had it happen. In solos, anyway. But mainly, I definitely think there are some issues that need to be ironed out. Obviously, it is still Season 1, and it's going to be the holiday season, so a lot of the updates are going to be a lot slower. But I definitely hope they do pick up after the holiday season, so I'm basically... All my complaints, I'm basically trying to make them as minimal as possible right now, because they're not a huge problem, because obviously it's still early on and the holidays are coming up, so I'm not surprised I wouldn't be surprised if they don't get fixed until, like, after the holidays. So, a big problem that I do have as well is, time to kill. You die so fast if you do not have 3 plates. I understand that obviously you want 3 plates, and I don't want to make 2 plates feel like you have 3 and 3 plates feel like you have God mode. But I think the TTK needs to be reeled in just a bit, because good God, there are some weapons that kill so fast that you have no time to react. I think right now, one of the meta weapons right now is the RPK. That thing it melts through armor so fast. It's insane. Like, all the OMGs are good. And also, armor-piercing armor, they recently just fixed it so that it doesn't pierce armor. And I don't know why. So, I basically would say... Like, I think it's mainly because they obviously don't want to go through armor. I think it should deal more damage to players who are armored, but not deal more damage directly to them. So, like, it'll... Rather than... Like, so when you hit armor... When you hit a player, it does X amount of damage. When you hit a player with armor, it does so much damage to the armor and then so much damage to the player. Armor piercing should just, like, do the same amount of damage to the armor. Or, like, maybe more damage to the armor, but less to the player, because it has to go through the armor. I know that doesn't make much sense, but, I like, the fact that they made that a thing, I think it's kind of dumb, because it defeats the entire purpose of it. I don't know how else to describe it other than, like, either make the armor-piercing ammo, like, do more damage to armor without dealing more damage to the player, and make, like, essentially make it so that the TTK is still the same, but it's just dealing more damage to the armor to break it than it is to just shoot them outright with some, like, a full root gun. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, maybe it does less player damage, but more damage to the armor. So, you're doing more damage to the armor and breaking it faster, but you're not dealing as much damage to the player through that armor, I guess. Because you're obviously, when you pierce it, yeah, you're going to hit the person, but your main goal is to break the armor with armor piercing, rather than to just go through it. I think the issue that it was ignoring it entirely, which would make sense, don't get me wrong, but I think that's a little broken in a BR where armor is important, you know? Because it's like if you play Minecraft, right? No, Minecraft's a bad example. I'm trying to think of a good example of a game. And think if you're playing Fortnite and you basically are getting shot. Like, let's say you're playing build. I haven't played build in forever. But it's like you're playing Fortnite and you're doing a build battle, and the person just has the ability to fly over your build and just fly on top of the map and shoot down at you. You know what I mean? It's like, there's no point at that rate. If you're just going to make it so that armor goes through armor and doesn't do any damage to it. And just kills the player out, does player damage outright. You know what I mean? So maybe TTK needs to be toned down. I know this video is going to be decently long, but I want to try and get all my thoughts. And this is unscripted, so I apologize if I'm kind of rambling and raving. I definitely think the footstep audio, in comparison to other sounds, definitely needs to be worked on a tiny bit. Like, I understand if you're going to be exfilling or, like, doing an objective that makes noise, it should drown it out. But if I'm just running, or if I'm like, let's say this, if I'm in a menu, like, let's say, for example, I'm in a backpack, or like if I'm in a backpack, I don't know if it's a thing that you guys have had, or maybe it's just a minor bug, but I noticed that sometimes my audio is muffled when I'm in certain inventories. So, like, for example, this precision airstrike flying over, this is something that should muffle footsteps, right? That makes sense. It's a plane flying over doing a bombing run. It makes sense. But something like, I can hear footsteps in the building here. Like, I can hear those pretty well. I definitely just think the footsteps and the sort of way the map works needs to be changed. Because, like, I will give them this. The audio in Warzone, in Modern Warfare 2 is a lot better than it was in Warzone 1 and Modern Warfare 2019. I just think the overall, I guess, I don't want to say quality. Like, if you're in a building, right, and you're running around, and somebody's outside and can hear you, I think they need to make it so that the sound of you being in the building is obviously muffled when you're outside, but you can still hear it. But when you're inside, it's obviously a tiny bit louder, because obviously if you're both in the building, you get, like, it's like when you're in an apartment building, right? And you hear people walking outside the apartment building, in the hallway, or somebody's walking in a room above you or below you, for example. Like, they should be not necessarily louder, but, like, I would say, more clear that you can hear them in a building, I guess is what makes sense. Because sometimes it feels like I can't tell if they're above or below me. I just know that they're in the building with me. Like, sometimes I can't tell that they can't. I can kind of tell the direction, just not, I can kind of tell the horizontal plane, but not the vertical. Maybe it's just a me thing. I'm just not paying attention enough. But I've had times where I've died expecting them to come from below me or above me, and they came from the opposite direction, and I got screwed. Other than that, I actually will give Infinity Ward this. If they win the best audio design, in terms of, like, also campaign as well, campaign audio is fucking, beautiful. If they win best audio, I actually think it would be a little bit more warranted this time. Because, God, Modern Warfare 2019's audio was god-awful. In terms of multiplayer. Single player, it was good. It had moments where it was a little weird, but it was good. I'm not saying they didn't deserve to win it. I just like to make fun of the fact that they won it, and they have made arguably some of the worst audio footsteps in the game, where I can hear somebody's I can hear somebody's shoe size, but I cannot tell where they're coming from. I can just hear them. their directional audio is a lot better. More cons, I guess I could try to think of. I'm trying to think of more. Mainly, again, just spectating in general. Like, helmet cam, great. I love the helmet cam. I need to know more information on what's, like, when I'm spectating. Like, if, like, I think they actually made it so you could see UAVs when there's, people on UAV when you're spectating now, so because I think we saw it earlier. But I can't see his plates at all. Like, whether he has any or if he has any equipped on his person and stuff like that, as well as like events happening in game. Like, that jailbreak caught me off guard. I didn't realize that was happening. The announcer probably said, but I didn't hear it. But yeah, there's Warzone 2. I'll basically end off my sort of pros and cons with this. Warzone 2 is a major step up from the shortcomings of Warzone 1 at the point of being in the first year. After 2 years of Warzone 1, I definitely say Warzone 1 was good during the Cold War era. It still had problems, obviously, DMR zone, like weird issues, stuff like that. But Warzone Caldera I've had more fun on Warzone Caldera in terms of like playing and running around doing an actual VR match than I did in Verdansk. Not only that, obviously the limited time mode, stuff like that. I really hope they continue the trend of doing crazy over-the-top limited time modes and events and stuff like that. But hell, we already have football players, EU football, or non-American football, I should say, being put in the game because of the World Cup that I think is going on currently right now. I think it's, I don't know, forgive me, I don't know, I don't keep up with the World Cup, or like FIFA, I guess is the proper term. I don't keep up with that. It's not the kind of sport I like. I used to play soccer when I was in school, but it's not my thing. But I definitely think as a whole, Warzone 2 is a step. Is this Dome? Wait a minute. This is Dome. This is Modern Warfare 3's Dome. Oh my god, please make this a map. Please. I love Dome. This is where Requise happened. This is where Requise happened. But yeah, I think overall, just again, as a whole, Warzone 2, like, I would say if I were to rate Warzone 1, year 1, so mainly the Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 2019 era up until Cold War came out, I'd give it like a 4 out of 10, just because, I was not a huge fan. I will say, the events and all of the little bits and pieces that happened during Warzones, like mainly the story and stuff like that, I did like. The events, some of the modes that they did, I liked some of the Verdansk modes. Like the Cold War reveal event was probably my favorite point in that time frame. But I'd say overall, like gameplay, from a gameplay perspective, not look outside of the events and stuff like that, I'd say Warzone 1 is a 4 out of 10. Warzone 2 right now, as like our first impressions after, or like general after a week, I give it a solid like 6 or 7 out of 10. Definitely not perfect. It has problems, like I said, but it's definitely loads better than Warzone 1. Obviously, I'll do another video on DMZ at a later date with DMZ gameplay in the background.
You've got gas inbound. Relocated.
And also, I will be trying out something else with that video. Is obviously, as you guys can see, I have my model, and if I move, obviously it's live model. But with the DMZ review, I might have it be a situation where I pre-record the gameplay and then re-record my model over that with just green screen out the background, because I figured out how to do that finally on Vegas. So expect that video at some point. Maybe not tomorrow, because obviously I have work, and obviously obviously today is Thanksgiving. I know I didn't really mention that, but it's not a holiday. not a holiday it's a holiday I celebrate. I just don't like celebrating it. It's not my favorite holiday. I don't like this kind of time of year, seasonal depression and all that, but I didn't mention it at the beginning, but yeah, happy Thanksgiving to those who do celebrate it. But yeah, I basically will do a DMZ video probably at some point, probably not tomorrow when this goes up. But definitely at some point between now and I definitely will say probably next week. And again, I know I say this a lot. I'm trying my best to finish the 300 subscriber special, what essentially inner working name, as I'm calling it, like the dev name, like how most developers will give a name to the game internally so they don't accidentally reveal something. Called Bunk Guard. I'm working on it still. I've just been in a bit of a rut mentally, and stressed out about a bunch of other things that I will not talk about at all. Just a bit stressed out. If I've told you, I've told you. That's it. Sorry this video is so long. We're gonna try and see if we can finish up this game. There's about 30 people left. Are we actually getting the triple zone? I think we've already passed anyway, but yeah. I'll be working on it. I probably actually in a bit I probably will be working on that probably later tonight as me recording this. And then I'll be mainly working on at that point just the next just other content I have planned, because I have plenty of other content plans I want to do, whether it be for my channel, for the co-op channel, or just in general other side projects. Obviously I am still working on the re-debut of the new outfit, because I know you guys seen it a little bit in thumbnails. I know I technically haven't really debuted with it technically, but I like using it in thumbnails because it adds a little bit more to the thumbnails, I think. But I see people use their older models, or even sometimes the newer models in thumbnails, and they aren't using it in the video kind of thing. But just know I do plan on re-debuting at some point before, probably because the thing is, right, I want to get a full lore video for, and I know I'm going off topic now, but it's like this is sort of after, I've kind of talked about everything I want to talk about, but I want to do a sort of lore video for my debut, and I want to have that be the thing that plays at the very start and then gets re-uploaded again later down, like after the fact. But I do want to have that be done. I just need to find the right I want to find the right people to do it with, because if I'm honest, I kind of want to have it be narrated like professionally, and also have like art and light animation, like not full scale animation because I don't have the money for that, but I want to get like different art pieces to match different points of the lore and the story and stuff like that. So yeah, I will, like I said, I want to debut I'm not gonna say it's a definitive date, but I might make my birthday stream be my debut stream.
Gas is closing in. Relocating the safe zone.
But so I can't, I'm not saying I'm promising that, but I'd say probably that would probably be the best bet with this, would be to say sometime in February, or like just probably sometime in February. It would be most likely be the time, because again, internet is a bit of a problem right now. I've been having issues. Thankfully it's not affecting the game, but it's been affecting because I've done a couple test streams on a dud channel to see if my bandwidth is okay, because I didn't want to do streams and break notifications or anything. So I've been doing test streams on my personal account that I use just for other things. Just like watching certain creators I don't want to fill up my gaming channel was recommended with, basically. But yeah, that's kind of all I really want to talk about. We're gonna watch the rest of this game out. We have 50 people left. Balls That Bust is using the new SMG, which I will do videos on like I did with Vanguard's weapons. where I'll basically be like using the gun either for the first time or after, or I basically will say this: I have used the guns a tiny bit just because I picked them up in like Modern Warfare 2 because I'm on a streak and want to see how far I keep the streak going. So they might have a couple attachments, but I don't think they're any higher than 5. Obviously, I did get the M13. Finally, I got it. And that'll be the thing I'll talk about during the DMZ video. Believe me, I want to go on a huge rant about that. But yeah, all I really have to say at this point in terms of stuff I want to talk about is just thank you guys so much for the support recently on all these videos I've been making. Expect videos on... expect next... I think at least once a week I want to do a Road to Ranked video for Overwatch until I get bored or until the season ends, right? Maybe even more than once a week, because I'm gonna be honest, I've been playing a lot more Overwatch trying to get the Battle Pass done. Because I do want to get it done. It's the one Battle Pass I really care about getting done the most, if not that, Splatoon's. I'm working on that as well. It's just obviously hard. Because I get burned out in Splatoon pretty easily. But with Overwatch, I can at least do the seasonal challenge, the daily and weekly challenges to help out. Master Al Kenobi. This is an interesting rotation. Clever, but interesting. Come on. Ah, rip, you're dead. You're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. It was a good try. Rip. Who won it? What's the name of the person who won it? Hopefully it's something bad. But, yeah, I basically, I want to do more opinionated videos. So I did the Battle Pass, my problem with Battle Passes video. I want to do more opinionated videos on different topics that in the gaming community that are, like, trending. And I will do a video, hold me to this, fade away, cool. Hold me to this. I will be doing a video on my opinions on what they've done to Overwatch 2 and in general, I'm going to talk about something that is going to be a very hot take, and that's going to be my opinion on loot boxes, because I say it every single time. I have a very hot take on loot boxes, and I don't care what anyone says. I will let you guys find that out if you don't already know on Twitter. But, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure you would like, if you want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss any videos. Follow me in the description below, Twitter, Instagram. Obviously, Twitter is in a very weird spot right now. I'll basically be leaving Twitter in my description until it inevitably dies, or Hive gets a desktop version, because I do like Hive. I've been using it a little bit. But yeah, join the community Discord, subscribe to Fox Den. Keep an eye on Fox Den. That's all I'm gonna say. Just keep an eye out. Yeah, I'll see you guys next video. Last time I decided to make. Have a good day, everybody. Stay safe and have a nice holiday. Have a nice Thanksgiving once again, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for a video. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be a video.